Let's jump right into today's explainer, where we're going to unpack a truly celebrated, yet deeply scrutinized moment in sports history. Picture this, a nation erupting in joy, confetti falling, a gleaming trophy held high into the air. If you're imagining history being written on the pitch, you're picturing the surface of the 1978 FIFA World Cup. But as we unravel our sources today, it becomes clear that beneath the roar of the crowd, some pretty dark, lingering questions remain. Let's explore a tournament that's remembered just as much for its shadows as it is for its shining moments.
This brings us right to our core question. Was this a straightforward athletic victory or something far more complicated? The sources we're looking at today paint a picture of a World Cup where the scorelines might not actually tell the whole story. It's a fascinating look at what happens when the pure, unfiltered joy of sport collides head-on with the heavy, complex realities of the world outside the stadium walls.
Section 1. Football under a dictatorship, the dark reality of 1978. Okay, to really grasp the weight of this tournament, we can't just look at the players, we have to zoom out and look at the host nation itself. Back in 1978, Argentina was actually under strict military rule, led by Jorge Rafael Videla. So while the eyes of the entire world were glued to the beautiful game, there was this incredibly stark, contrasting reality unfolding in the background. We're talking off-pitch realities defined by severe political repression, forced disappearances, and just a pervasive atmosphere of fear. The regime completely understood that hosting the World Cup wasn't just about football. It was a massive global stage, and they desperately needed a PR victory to broadcast a sanitized, triumphant image of Argentina to the rest of the world, basically to mask the incredibly dark realities of their rule.
Section 2. The talented Argentina squad. Passion on the pitch. Now, despite that heavy, inescapable political backdrop being orchestrated by the regime, we have to acknowledge that the Argentine football team itself was undeniably formidable. These guys were out there to win a football tournament, right? Completely separate from the political machinations happening above them. They were led by their brilliant coach, Cesar Luis Menotti, and profoundly inspired by their absolute star player, Mario Kempes. These two figures just brought an incredible intensity to the team. They played with a fierce passion that totally captivated the fans. However, as the tournament progressed and the squad pushed further toward the final, the questions surrounding the circumstances of their matches kind of grew right alongside their success.
Section 3. The suspicious Peru match, the tournament anomaly.
To even advance to the final, Argentina faced a literal mountain of a hurdle. They didn't just need to beat Peru. Because of the goal difference in their group, they needed to win by a staggering margin of at least 4 goals. Now, in a World Cup, against a solid team, that is an incredibly tall order. The result? A shocking 6-0. Securing a 6-goal victory when you absolutely need 4 is a massive statistical anomaly, and it immediately aroused deep, widespread suspicion across the global footballing community. Almost overnight, a flood of questions and allegations surrounded the match. Observers everywhere were asking, did intense political pressure from the Argentine regime actually influence the outcome? Was there some sort of back-channel agreement between the governments of Argentina and Peru? And purely from a sporting perspective, why did a highly capable Peruvian side perform so shockingly poorly? Now, the sources make it very clear to point out that no concrete proof has ever fully confirmed any wrongdoing. We absolutely have to look at this objectively. But while the hard proof was absent, those intense doubts and lingering questions, they never vanished.
Section 4. The 1978 World Cup Final, Argentina versus the Netherlands.
The stage was finally set. The Dutch were incredibly dangerous, even playing without their legendary leader Johan Cruyff, and they were totally desperate to avenge their 1974 finals heartbreak. The stakes literally couldn't have been higher. In the first half, Argentina strikes first, sending the home crowd into an absolute frenzy. But the Dutch, resilient as ever, managed to equalize late in the second half, totally silencing the stadium and pushing the game to the absolute limit. Then, in extra time, the star we mentioned earlier, Mario Kempes, scores again. By full-time, Argentina secures a 3-1 victory. They are crowned champions of the world in a moment of sheer athletic triumph.
Section 5. Politics, Power, and Propaganda, Validating the Regime. For the military dictatorship, this globally broadcast victory was effectively weaponized, acting as both a massive distraction and a reinforcement of absolute power.
Section 6. Truth, Myth, and Legacy, the 1978 Paradox.
When we look back at all of this today, we're basically forced to weigh 2 deeply conflicting narratives of this single tournament. On one hand, you have the undeniable truths.
a remarkably talented Argentine team, the massive energy of the home advantage, and the incredible momentum they built throughout the tournament. Those are athletic facts. But on the other hand, you have the shadows. That highly controversial 6-0 Peru match, the overarching political pressure from the dictatorship, and a lingering suspicion that simply won't fade. History formally records the 1978 Argentine squad as the champions of the world. But, as our sources remind us, history also firmly remembers the questions.
Because sometimes, the story of a game isn't just about what happens on the pitch, but everything happening around it. Ultimately, what do you think? Do you believe Argentina's win was a fair athletic triumph, or was something else at play? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep questioning the history behind the headlines.